Welcome to Transformative Principal, where we interview real principals who are doing amazing things to help our students every single day. I'm your host, Jethro Jones. You can find me on Twitter at Jethro Jones. Today on the show, we have a great guest, Sam LeDeaux. He's super inspiring. You're going to love this interview. Before we get to it, I just want to express my gratitude and appreciation for those who have downloaded this podcast, and especially for those who have been guests on the podcast. I had the first week of school at my new assignment as the principal of the middle school in Kodiak, Alaska this week, and it was an amazing week of learning with my teachers, working with them, and then welcoming the students on the first day of school. And it was just amazing. And what made it so amazing was that I was able to implement so many of the things that I've learned from doing the interviews with these principals. And it has just been amazing. So, if you're a principal and you're listening to this and you haven't started implementing the things that these principals are talking about, do what Sam is going to talk about in his interview and realize that starting it tomorrow will be 12 hours too late, and just start doing something today, because the things that the principals have talked about really do make a difference. And I've learned so much and become such a better principal because of it. It's just been amazing to me. So I'm really grateful for all that I've learned from these awesome people. So I hope you enjoy this interview, and I hope you enjoy all the interviews, and that you are able to find something to take away from each one to make yourself a transformative principal. Start out by telling us what your name is, who you are, and where you're from, and how you got to where you're at.
All right, my name is Sam LeDeaux. I am in the Chicago metropolitan area, and I'm been an administrator for 4 years. I taught third grade as a homeroom teacher for 4 years. I then taught computer and technology classes for 3 years to kindergarten through 8th graders, and have been an administrator for the last 4 years.
Cool. And what kind of a school are you administrator at?
It is a school with very high achievement, very high expectations, very high parental involvement and resources, very, very supportive, very educated, passionate community.
Okay, good. And what grade levels is that?
Kindergarten through 5th.
Kindergarten through 5th. All right. And what's the thing that's going on that you are most excited about right now?
We have really unified the community, staff and parents, and that is really exciting, because when you have 62 staff members and 869 parents working together, there is nothing that you cannot do, and we have seen that over these last couple of years.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I like how you know how many parents there are, 869. How do you know that, Sam?
Because they, like I say, are very, very passionate, very, very educated, and they want to be a part of making our school a great place for our kids. So they always have input that they're willing to share. They are not bashful about doing that. And we are in constant communication, whether it's physical or email or Twitter or however that may be. So, I know every single person that's out there, and they know me.
That's good. So you're in a metropolitan area then, right?
Yes.
So you have, there's a lot. Do they have a lot of choices of where they can go to school in your area, or do they have to go to their boundary school?
They have to go to the boundaries. You can request a permissive transfer within the district, but that's pretty rare.
Is it? Okay. So how did you get to the point where you are constantly in communication with all those parents?
I think I always thought I did a good job of communicating. I would send out my weekly newsletter that realistically became a monthly newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say it was about a year and a half ago when I attended my first ed camp
Mm-hmm.
and just saw people doing things that I thought people somewhere were doing great things, but didn't realize that those people are everywhere and right here. And I see that they're not learning things and then implementing them next year because they're too busy this year and already got things going on. But these are people that learn things and then are applying these things and implementing these things in their communities now. Or if it happens first thing tomorrow morning, that's 12 hours too late.
Mm-hmm.
So attending that and really connecting with people. I got into social media, which is something I was not in at the time and something that I vowed I would never, ever, 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 ever do. But I saw the way to leverage that to strengthen myself as a professional and educator and to support those around me. So very reluctantly took the plunge, and it has been, I would have to say, the single greatest thing that's happened for me in terms of being an educator and professional.
Wow, that's pretty powerful, Sam. Tell me about some of the things that have been so powerful.
Well, just true transparency. And everybody thinks they have an open door policy,
Mm-hmm.
but some people's open door policy is see my secretary and she'll get it scheduled, and that might be 3 or 4 weeks from now, or maybe never. Maybe you never
Mm-hmm.
hear anything, and that's their open door policy. But being able to leverage, especially social media, if you can't come see me, if you can't grab me on the playground, I'm on the playground every morning before school, every morning after school. If you can't shoot me an email or call, we have created a school hashtag. I'm always available on Twitter. So, again, this is a community that's very, very passionate, very supportive, and they're busy like everybody's busy. And this has just given us a variety of avenues to get in touch with each other and have true transparency with what's happening in our school, and for parents to have immediate input into helping things be great at our school
Mm-hmm.
and not waiting until conferences or the end of the trimester.
Right, right. So, do are parents actively using Twitter to communicate with you, or is that like five or six parents over here, five or six parents are connecting on Facebook, and then
Yeah,
most of them are on email? How does that look for you in real life?
I would say that as far as directly communicating with me, that's through email and face to face visits. But starting our school hashtag, we had obviously zero parent followers
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't have anything, and we have about 90 right now.
Pretty good.
So that's really great. And then those people can obviously pass on that information, but that is instant feedback that you're not waiting even till the end of the day for an email. This stuff is news in real time. So the parents that access that, they're not directly contacting me, but they are contributing to our hashtag with suggestions and comments to help improve our school in real time,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome.
Yeah. One of the ones that I saw the other day was let me see if I can find it real quick. Was somebody who said, look what came in the mail today. Thanks so much, S. LeDeaux 84 and Man School for making my goal a reality. And it was a teaching level certification for Catherine Cairns, and that looks like a parent or a mom or a teacher, excuse me. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Um, and so that what I liked about that is that it's saying thanks for making my goal a reality, and that kind of positive commentary on with your school's hashtag is really powerful to me. So talk about how you introduced that, how it caught on, how people are using it now.
Yeah, well, I think just like anything, you want to shy away from a top down decision. You want to shy away from authoritarian position and really create value, show people the value behind things. So when when I was exposed to these things, like I say, I vowed against social media, but I saw a way that I could leverage that professionally to improve our community. So I delved in and have grown in ways I have never grown before in my career. And that is something that excites me. For me personally, a little bit, but because of the things I was able to do for the people around me, my staff, my kids, my parents. So I was excited and enthusiastic to share that with my staff. Look, this is nothing you have to do, but this is something that has extended me. And here's what I've done. Here are what other people are doing. And take that, fit it with your style, and move forward as you see fit. So we had a staff meeting to kind of show the experience that I had. So I kind of shared that. A few other staff members shared their experiences. And then people started asking questions. Tentative questions. Well, what if this? How about that? Exactly how does that work? And so it was ongoing professional dialogue, and kind
Mm-hmm.
of more and more people started jumping in. And then with that school wide hashtag, sharing the things that were happening. And you can't argue with success. You can't argue with a positive impact on kids, with and for kids. So the continuous sharing and showing of the value has really helped people get on board.
Yeah.
And so, we are always saying it's not about Twitter, it's not about technology. This is another way to collaborate. This is another way to share. This is what I say is this is a great way for people that don't have time to get together and share ideas. We don't have common plan time. We always miss each other. Well, technology and especially social media provides a platform for people that don't have time to collaborate. Like, look at us right now.
Mm-hmm.
They can find time. They have a platform when you don't have time. So that has kind of been our base.
That's cool. And so, with what percentage of your teachers would you say this has caught on and they're drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will?
I would say before I got started, we had maybe a dozen that had accounts,
Mm-hmm.
professional accounts, and probably five or six that were regularly active. Um, when I got started, obviously being the leader and having a greater platform to share experiences, now we have, I think, 49 with accounts and
Wow.
probably 22 or so that are regularly active, and that's on a staff of 62.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Especially if the goal of the social networking is to collaborate and become a better professional. For 49 of your staff to be on that bandwagon and ready to do that at varying levels of success and implementation of that, that's pretty amazing that they're all finding ways to learn and grow, without having to come to a staff meeting or attend a specific training for that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
That is. So one of the things that I also want to talk to you about was, how do you balance the difficult things that happen at school with being open and transparent with your teachers and your parents. Tell me how you deal with some of those difficult issues and what strategies you use to still be transparent, but to not divulge things that shouldn't be divulged.
Yeah, well, obviously there are things that are personal and confidential, and everybody knows where that line is. But for the other things, um, you know, there's a gorilla in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and staff knows what that is, parents know what it is, and kids know what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
it's no secret. So we have really focused, and this was when I first started at this school 2 years ago, we really focused on having candid, respectful conversations and holding one another accountable in a supportive way. And that was really awkward and really uncomfortable when that's not the culture and the climate. And for us, it took a super uncomfortable situation where a lot of feathers were ruffled for us to start feeling comfortable looking ourselves in the mirror to say, look, this is what's happening. Everybody knows it. It needs to be addressed. We're not calling anybody out, but what we are doing is holding each other accountable in a supportive way in terms of our service to kids. This is not about personal performance. This is about our service to kids. And we all agree we're in this for kids. So if here's an area that's good but can be great, let's work together to make that great. And it took a lot of work and a lot of uncomfort and awkwardness. But once you bust through that wall, sky's the limit.
Oh, that sounds amazing. What I really like is that you redefine it as not personal performance, but service to students. And that's really powerful. I mean, I felt the change as you were talking about that and how that affects what we do and how we do it. Talk more about how you came up with that and what that means day to day with your teachers and students.
Well, again, everybody says that they're in it for kids, but if you feel that you're being personally attacked, then you kind of shut down. And when you shut
Mm-hmm.
down, you're not sharing. When you shut down, you're not communicating, you're not collaborating. And then you're kind of in your own world. You close your door and you do your thing. And maybe every now and then you pop your head out and you tell us how awesome it is in there. But if we are as proud as we say we are of the things going on in our classrooms, in our school, then that door should be open.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have opened those doors physically with peer observations, and I am frequently in classrooms with entire days dedicated to being in classrooms. And we've opened the doors virtually now with social media. So, parents, here is what is happening in your child's school right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's okay for them to catch the monthly newsletter and read 30-day-old news. For other people, it's okay for them to read a web page update every 2 weeks and read 14-day-old news. But for people that want to know what's happening right now in real time, this is touching those people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your peer observations and how you implement that. Again, that's something that is difficult for teachers to start doing, but once they do it, they really see the power. How did you get teachers to start doing that? What was your first approach there?
Again, really awkward and uncomfortable, and that's not the culture and the climate. Just inviting people and again showing the value behind it. So everybody here thinks what they're doing is awesome,
Mm-hmm.
but we're kind of shy and nervous and don't have the courage to share that. So that either speaks to us needing to um, work on that communication to share, or maybe we're not being honest with ourselves about what's happening in our rooms. And there's nothing wrong with that because nobody's perfect. So it just started with showing the value of another ear, another set of eyes. And I'm frequently in classrooms. And it takes some time to get over that awkwardness and discomfort. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not comfortable with an administrator being in there, who are you comfortable with in there? And my thing is, don't go home to your spouse or go to the bar with your best friend and wish something was different at school. Come to school and talk to people who can help make that wish a reality. If I wish my principal was in my room, but if it was so and so, I would really take to that feedback. Well, get so and so in your classroom and have them give you
Mm-hmm.
that feedback. So we talked about that, and I have a standing, I have a standing invitation, I guess, for teachers that, well, you know what, our times are off, and when they're doing the thing I want to see, I'm busy doing this, and I tell them, you tell me where you want to go, when, and how long, and I will come cover your classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
we do not let schedules get in the way of us sharing and improving ourselves. So it just started with, I'd probably say, a handful of teachers that had the courage to go into somebody else's room because that's uncomfortable, or can be,
Mm-hmm.
and a handful of teachers that were comfortable allowing those people in, and then they shared their experiences. And like anything else, when you show the value of, holy cow, I really didn't realize I was doing that, or I really didn't realize that's the way things came off, because in my head it was working so much differently. And now I've made this change, and holy cow, thank you so much for that feedback, and thanks for the 12 minutes you spent in my classroom.
Right.
It doesn't take much. So that grew, and I would like to move towards where things become a little bit more, I don't want to say formal, but routine. Right now it's still kind of in the invite stage. So that's where we're at, and that takes work, because relationships and building trust and respect take work. But you pace it out the right way, that time invested, you will make it up 100-fold on the back end.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the purpose of your peer observations? Are teachers looking to give feedback to the teacher they're observing, or are teachers going in to learn what the other person is doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. So at first it was, let's just get comfortable communicating. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is you want, if you want to see what's happening elsewhere, and they're willing to let you see, great. If you would like to offer them some feedback, awesome. If you would like to just steal something and take it back to your classroom, great. So that's how things started. Then it kind of progressed to giving feedback. Here's one thing I noticed, here's one thing I liked, and here's one thing I have a question about. And I would like for the next phase to be for teachers to say, here is a domain. I don't know if you use the Danielson framework.
We use the Marzano.
Okay, so I would imagine similar, but
Yeah.
I would like for teachers to say, here is a domain or some components of the formal evaluation that I'm really focusing on, or would like for your eyes to take a look at this period or these 10 minutes, or just during my intro or just during my transitions. And if you could just give me some feedback there. So I would like for um, basically, by the time teachers have their formal evaluation with me, it's nothing more than the conversations they've already had with each other that they're comfortable with, because evaluation should be about growth and improvement, collaborative dialogue, and not an I gotcha, things weren't perfect, and teachers thinking things have to be perfect and stressing out about that.
Oh, amen, man. Amen. That is, um, at my last school, we did peer observations, and at first it was awkward and uncomfortable. And I just started a new school. Thursday was our first day of school,
Well, good
actually.
for you.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. It was very exciting. And it was a great day. And I was in teachers' classrooms that first day. And, you know, I have very much the same philosophy as you, but I could see that some teachers were nervous that I was there on the first day, that I was judging them, that they were not teaching content yet. And, you know,
Yeah.
I had to say repeatedly, uh, it's about procedures right now, and it's okay, and we're here to make you better. And this evaluation form that I'm using is about helping you grow and be better. It's not about finding a place where you make a mistake and saying, you didn't do that right, so now I've got you. And that's just not the case. And I hope that we can get to that point of peer observations also, because I've seen the value in that for sure.
Yeah.
What do you have a process or a peer observation form or something that you use to document and keep track of their peer observations?
At this point, we don't. And my thinking behind that is I don't know that collectively we're ready for that,
Mm-hmm.
but we will get there. So right now, no, we don't.
Gotcha. So right now it's voluntary, and you're looking for positive experiences to help build it for other people. Is that right?
Yep, right now we're just building the relationships and the comfort level.
Thank you so much for downloading and listening to this podcast. Please subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher, and please feel free to give us a rating on Stitcher Radio or on iTunes so that we can help spread the word about how much we're learning in this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me on Twitter at Jethro Jones.